Welcome to Planet of NY Sports. Here we talk Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, and a little bit of the Knicks and Nets. So, in other news, the little brother in terms of New York football, the New York Jets. We all know the quarterback situation. Derek Carr has signed with the New Orleans Saints. That is one QB off the board. Now, certain quarterback from Green Bay meeting with the team? Let's read it here. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets have had conversations today. While nothing is imminent, Rodgers is open to the idea of going to New York. Alex, let me get your instant reaction.
I was kind of surprised instantly because I feel like because I remember before it said like the Jets weren't really into looking into Rodgers; they're more into Carr. But then after Carr signs at the Saints, I guess Aaron Rodgers is really their second option, and there's someone that they have to chase after at this point because we have Mike White and everything. But after that one game, Mike White was not really that good and consistent anymore, and I would even though Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, I would much rather have an Aaron Rodgers on my team as my starting quarterback than a Mike White at this point.
Okay. Roderick, what is your take on this?
I'm indifferent.
I'm
bringing just a little bit, it's a tad bit. I'm indifferent on it because there's pros and cons to everything. I think for him and the Jets, it's probably I don't want to say the best fit, but I think that they could mesh well if the Jets bring the right pieces around him. And I think at this point in his career, he probably needs a little more help. And I think the Jets can certainly provide that. It just comes down to how much he wants, how much they're willing to give him. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And the Jets obviously they're going to have to trade for him, and it's going to be really interesting to see what are the Jets going to give up and how much are they going to be willing to give up here? Because apparently they've had discussions, and we can read the tweet right here. They flew to meet with him in person. So, the Jets, it's getting serious. And, if you want a QB at this point, Derek Carr is off the board. Daniel Jones is off the board too. I know that was highly unlikely. I'm just saying quarterbacks off the board at this point. So really, you look at your options, and it's Aaron Rodgers. You can trade for him, or what? You can go after Jimmy G, and then that's pretty much it in terms of a somewhat of an upgrade. I can't. Really,
I know a guy.
There is Lamar.
I know a guy.
Oh, who's the guy, Roderick?
He wears purple and he wears 8.
Okay. All right. Anyways, but yeah, there still is Lamar Jackson, but the thing about that, you're probably gonna have to give up 2 first-round picks for him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Now, oh boy, Roderick, how much draft capital do you think this is gonna take for this deal?
Well, I think, like I said, with the whole pros and cons thing, how much the Jets willing to give up, obviously that's the first part, and how much the Packers willing to take for him. Because I think that if Rodgers, let's say he tells the team he wants to leave and he's serious about it and doesn't change his mind a week later, if he's serious and he tells them that he wants to leave, now he has some leverage, right? But if the Jets aren't willing to pay what the Packers deem is, what's the word, reasonable, I don't think that a deal will be made. I think that the Jets, they should sort of be aggressive, but not too aggressive in the sense that they don't want to overpay for him. So I think we're looking at probably a couple of roster players, right? Start there, a first, right, and maybe a couple of mid-round picks. Nothing too crazy on the roster players part, but I think that's somewhere in there. You can get that done.
Okay, so what roster players do you think that they would get?
When I say roster player, I just mean people to make the money work. Not necessarily talent, but I don't know, Mike White or just somebody to give competition for Jordan. I don't know, bro. There's something to make the numbers work, bro.
I'm pretty sure Mike White is going to be a I know.
Well,
Love,
I was
but
just
that's
I was
white.
just trying to throw I was trying to throw something off my head. I mean, like whoever, if they need
What,
money to
Zach
work,
Wilson? You think they're gonna do that? Zach Wilson? Zach
The
Wilson?
mother lover.
honestly, that's not. I mean, if you have Jordan Love, you might want some competition for him. I don't know. You want to give the guy some chance? I don't know, but I think it's really just about the picks, and I think a first and some more will probably be the base. Excuse me, I'll say.
Okay. Alex, how do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to handle New York?
That's a good question. I feel like Aaron Rodgers has been in Green Bay basically all of his life, so I feel like he's already he's been like known to that surroundings and the players, even with the new players coming along, he's like the veteran in that place. But now he's going to this new environment. He's going to the jungle. He's going to New York. So I feel like it would definitely be a change for him. But I feel like it's something he can probably handle at this point in his career because he has to get now. He's going to like a team that is built around more younger players instead, and that and that he's gonna have to deal with more younger players now. So he's probably gonna be like kind of like getting used to it, and he's gonna be like the rookie in quotation marks, and more of like the younger players and the players that have already been on the Jets are probably gonna like have to teach him and get him used to New York.
Yeah, being in New York is a different animal. I know I've said this countless of times, but I'm going to say it again. This guy, some of the stuff that this guy does and says, yeah, that's not going to fly here. It's not. And what do we want? We want championships. We don't want your extracurricular activities. We don't care. We don't care if you want to take some drug from Joe Rogan. We don't care. We don't care if you want to go disappear in a cave and blah blah blah. We do not care. We want championships, and especially for the Jets, who haven't won in forever. They haven't won since Namath. So, if you win here, you'll be seen as a New York legend. But the thing about Aaron Rodgers is, I don't know. I don't know his commitment level. I don't know. You may get at least one guaranteed year. Two, I'm not sure, because let's say it doesn't go well next year. What is he going to go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to retire? That is something that he would do. Like, it just wouldn't surprise me. Or, I can see him playing 2 years maybe, but then that's really it. I see him playing like 2 more seasons, and then that's it at this point for Rodgers. Because, I think part of it is, too, he didn't really want to retire the same year as Brady because the guy likes attention. And, when he gets into the Hall of Fame, he wants to be the only guy talked about. I can tell you that right now. He doesn't want to be in the same Hall of Fame class as Brady. He's going to be like, why isn't anyone talking about me? He's still going to be complaining 6 years from now on the Pat McAfee show why no one's talking about him. But anyways, I digress here. Rodgers is interesting. I don't know how he's going to handle the New York media. Roderick, how do you think he would handle the New York media?
I think there's going to be a Kyrie Irving-esque tenure here if he does go to the Jets, because let's talk about Green Bay for a second. This is where my bias will kick in. Green Bay is a small place in Wisconsin. Like, it's not necessarily a big market. Like, if you look at the Bucks in Milwaukee, they're not really a big market team. Do they have Giannis? It's not a massive city, right? You can do stuff like Aaron Rodgers does in Green Bay, because what are they going to do? They're going to hold you accountable, and then you just walk to somewhere bigger. Like, in places like that are small markets, you can get away with more things. I think that if he goes to the Jets and he comes to the New York market, it's going to be a completely different story. Like you said, nobody cares about your little darkness retreats, going to caves, taking stuff from people, and just doing whatever. So, like, you got to play football, number one, and number two is also play football. Like, I don't know if his ego is gonna let him do that.
Yeah, he has a really, really, really big ego, and it's like it's enormous. Like I don't really know how he's going to handle it, and I do agree. I think it will be a Kyrie Irving-esque situation here. I just see it happening right now. I just feel like it's going to be a disaster. Like maybe not a disaster. I think they will make the playoffs, maybe lose in the wild card round, and then Rodgers is going to complain. He's going to say something, maybe say something to the media or go on the Pat McAfee show and say, oh, and start blaming people, because also the guy does not like taking accountability.
Oh my goodness!
I can say that right now. Whenever something goes wrong with the rookies or the young guys, I'll forget about it. He's like,
oh, I can't catch the ball.
He can't catch the ball. Like throwing his arms up, having an attitude on his head, going like, making all those faces. I just can't with the guy. I cannot take him. I can't take him. Pause. But if he does come here and win, you're like, for the first time since Namath, if he wins the Super Bowl here as the Jets quarterback, which I don't think will happen personally, but let's say he does. Alex, how do you think he would be remembered if that happens?
As long as he keeps himself media-wise, as long as he keeps himself, out the picture, and, he does what he has to do, and he wins them a Super Bowl, I feel like he'll definitely be remembered very well, in a very well way. Because it's like, you trade for this guy, you need a quarterback. The situation right now, because if you think about it, if you look back on it, like from the future, you think about it, your last two QBs were Zach Wilson and Mike White, who were not the ideal QBs you wanted on your young team. But then, you trade for this guy, Aaron Rodgers, and he comes this year and he wins the Super Bowl. So I think he would be remembered in a very good way, somewhat, as long as he just keeps himself out the media, keeps himself out of the way.
Do we think Rodgers could do that, though? Do we think?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there'll probably be a cold day in hell before that happens.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't have too much confidence in Rodgers really coming in here, keeping his mouth shut, just going along with the flow, just coming here and balling out. I don't see it happening. I really don't. Especially being in New York too. These reporters, they've gotten a little softer. I'm not pause. I'm not gonna lie. The reporting has gotten soft. But before, the New York media, it would be like, but now it's still tough, but it's like a little, it eased up a tiny bit. It's still definitely tougher than Wisconsin. So they're gonna ask him way tougher questions, and Rodgers is going to be interesting how he answers them.
He's gonna crack.
He is gonna crack. I just don't see his personality here. Same thing with Derek Carr too, to be honest, because Derek Carr, the guy was crying with the Raiders. If you're crying, with that media, and then you're gonna come here and you're gonna start crying. I
think that does show more dedication in a way.
Yeah, it shows dedication, but you can't be crying with the New York media, Roderick. You know this. You're
This is true.
You're a Met fan, so if let's see, if Justin Verlander, let's say, starts crying,
not even.
After giving up like 5 runs in a postseason game and starts crying, how are you going to feel about that if that were to happen?
Obviously not good.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want your one of your basically your leader of your team to come here and start crying, especially in New York. You need to have the mental fortitude here for New York, because
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
In a second, if you want.
No, go ahead. Go ahead right now.
I want to ask you guys, what do you think Rodgers' plan is here? Because obviously he's not in his peak performance, and he couldn't be Jared Goff in a meaningful game. So going to the AFC going to help him out at all? Like, I really just wonder what's his motivation for leaving Green Bay and coming to a place like the Jets, where
Alex, you can go first.
Honestly, I couldn't really tell you. I'm just trying to think. Maybe he wants to start somewhere, not start somewhere new. Because at this point in his career, he's going to retire in a couple of years, so he's not really starting somewhere new. But maybe he's giving somewhere else like a try for his final years. Maybe he wants to see how it is differently, like in an AFC or like in a Jet situation compared to just being on Green Bay for his entire career. So Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
But like with Tom Brady, like when he left New England and he went to Tampa Bay, like that was to win a championship. Aaron Rodgers is not winning a chip. Like we just said, he's not winning a chip here. Like he just wants attention. That's my conclusion.
Yeah. I'm also gonna just point out too, like what you said, like him going to the AFC too doesn't really make a lot of sense to me personally, especially when you look at the quarterback competition here, and then when you look at this state, and then when you look at the NFC, it's like way lighter. So like with the AFC, you're gonna have to deal with Patrick Mahomes, you have to deal with Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Lawrence. I can go on and on. I'm not, but like, so you really want to come here and like also. You're still going to be in the same division as Allen. You're going to have to play him twice a year, mind you. You're going to have to play the Dolphins twice a year. The Patriots, please. I mean, at this point, I don't think
Matt Patricia.
I don't. And Joe Judge. I don't
Screen.
I don't think anyone is really worried about the Patriots, but the other two teams, I just don't see why it makes a lot of sense for him to come to the AFC. But man, I feel like for me personally, I'll believe it when I see it when if he leaves the Packers, because I still feel like he's just doing this because he's been doing it for the last few years. Should I stay? Should I go? Should I stay? Like nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares. It's been like this since like 2020. The guy's personality just all of a sudden he wanted to start talking more. And he's like, oh, like he just wants attention. So do I think he ends back up with the Packers? Maybe. I
put money on it. I would.
Exactly. If I were to put money on this, I would say he returns to the Packers. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, most likely he would probably return to the Packers. I mean, even if he doesn't get on the Jets, as long as he's gonna really lose anything. I mean, all he's really doing himself is putting himself in like a weirder situation, switching to the AFC, like you said, with all the young quarterbacks that he has to face, being in the same division as Josh Allen, So I feel like he's nothing to lose. It's really just the attention. Whatever happens, is just gonna get attention.
Yeah, like I just, and he's not going to the Raiders. The Raiders they're not in on him. So but the Jets are desperate though. So maybe they'll be like, oh, we'll see what the Jets do and how far they're willing to go to get Rodgers. I'm not sure. It's going to be really interesting to see. So, Alex, any closing thoughts?
No, I think I got everything out that I wanted to say.
All right. How about you, Roderick? All right, everyone. We'll see if this guy right here, the horse swarm guy, the going into a cave guy, we'll see if he's going to come to New York.
Kopito.
Do we think so though? Hell no. Hell to the no. I don't see this guy coming here. And if he does come here, I think we have a potential Kyrie Irving-esque situation. Now, if you can all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hopefully, no news comes out right after I post this about, Aaron Rodgers to return to the Packers, or, Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets, because
that would happen to us.
It's going to make this video pointless. But it's whatever. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. Hopefully, he makes his decision maybe next week. That would be nice. That would help. That would help us out. Now, if you can all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next video.